Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in to WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, 2023 is shaping up to be a great year already, especially when it comes to books and readers. This year is marking the 30th anniversary of America's number one best-selling educational brand, that being BrainQuest. And to celebrate, they have a great series called My First BrainQuest that's available. I actually have two of the books here with me. Here to talk to us more about this series and the impact that BrainQuest has been able to have, we're excited to welcome Karen Edards to our program. Karen is the editorial director of educational resources at Workman. We're going to talk to her not only about what she hopes that young people are able to get from these books, but also the help that we can be able to give to young people when it comes to expressing within the books as well. Karen, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hi, Cyrus. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is definitely all mine. Karen, as a self-professed nerd and someone who has always loved books, I was so excited to hear about this My BrainQuest series and these two books that I have, ABC's A Question and Answer book and First Word Science Around Us, a question and answer book, are so great. We're going to dive into that a little bit. But what has it been like for you, Karen, to see the impact that BrainQuest has had not only on children but also in those who work with children?
It has been hugely rewarding. As you mentioned, BrainQuest is celebrating its 30th anniversary, and it's just so rewarding for me to hear from people who grew up with BrainQuest, who now have families of their own and are excited about introducing them to our My First BrainQuest program, or who have children who are using our question and answer smart cards and our workbooks. It shows the impact that we've had over generations.
I think that's so true. And with this new series, Karen, My First BrainQuest, I love the fact how engaging it is. They're beautiful books, the two that I have here. They're beautiful. The illustrations are great, but they're so interactive in that you're able to get the kids not only just thinking about what they're seeing, but also thinking about other things as well. Is that kind of the hope for BrainQuest, that they do not only, of course, spark curiosity, but also to help kids to start thinking about other things that the book may inspire?
Absolutely. We start with what the children know and have them talk about what they know, and then kind of take that conversation beyond the page. So we start talking about what they think, how they can connect what they're learning on the page to what's going on in their lives, and that's critical for critical thinking, for developing language, for encouraging learning. All 6 of our board books introduce babies and toddlers to foundational skills while promoting language development and encouraging learning through conversation. And one of the ways that we do that is supporting the parent as they guide the child through the book and help them to engage on each page on a deeper level. So it's not just a matter of the parent reading and the child receiving. It's a matter of communicating what's on the page and then throwing in a question or two that kind of connects what they're reading with maybe the child's personality. We might ask them, what do you like to do? Or how do you like to dance? Or can you whistle like a bird? Things like that open the door to conversations and a more natural learning process ensues.
I love, especially in the ABC, the question and answer book, Karen, I love how everything is so tied together and the thought process that goes into it. The example I want to share with our audience is for the letter F, and the topic is fancy foxes, and we have these 4 pictures of these foxes that are dressed differently, but they also have different things accompanying them that also tie into that letter. And I love the fact that as the question is what else begins with, and in this case the F, there are other things that will be able to help them as prompts. Is that kind of also how you hope that parents as well as teachers can use the book, almost as prompts to get them to thinking, so the kid's not just trying to think of something out of their head, they actually have this visual aid to help them think of things that can also start with that letter?
Exactly, and that's what we mean by like engaging with the page on a deeper level. I mean, the alliteration for F is fancy foxes, and we have 4 gorgeously attired fancy foxes. But the questions are: can you find the feathers? Feathers begins with the letter F, and we can talk about that. Or which fox is wearing the purple jacket? It's critical thinking. And then we have the fox with the fancy footwear. We have the fans. We have a flamingo. The question that we ask is what else begins with F? So a child can either look at the page and pick something from the page, or they might pick something from the room. They might pick up something from their imagination. All of this is learning. All of this allows the child to relate to the book and to their parent on a different level, whatever level that child is at. So it's accessible to all types of learners, to all age groups. For example, a child who is 1 will relate to these pages in a totally different way than a child who is 4 will, but they will all find something richly rewarding within the covers of these books.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live, having a great conversation today with Karen Edards. Karen is the editorial director of educational resources at Workman. They're celebrating the 30th anniversary of America's #1 best-selling educational brand, that being BrainQuest, with a brand new series called My First BrainQuest. We're going to let you guys know, of course, how you can be able to get the books for yourself. But also, one thing that Workman Publishing has done, Karen, is, I mean, in 30 years, one big thing that's kind of impacted us all is technology. What has that been like for you all to be able to tie in as you're able to share these great books too?
One of the ways is the content reflects the technology or STEM and STEAM that children are introduced to as early as kindergarten. The Science Around Us book focuses on that as well, not just technology, but how science and STEM is a natural part of our environment, even at the youngest ages. So we want to get children familiar with technology. We want to get them familiar with science and their place in a scientific world. And that happens in a way that children can relate to. Our Science Around Us book focuses on the different environments in which science presents itself that are familiar to a child, from the doctor's office to the kitchen, to a library, to the backyard, to how things move in a playground, to street sounds you hear in a street scene. Sound is very much a part of science. So all of these experiences that children have are tied to science. They're just not labeled as such. And if we demystify science and STEM and technology for a child when they're 0 through 4, then it won't be as intimidating when they're introduced to it in pre-K and kindergarten.
Exactly. Such a great thing. Karen, so glad that you could join us to talk to us about how BrainQuest continues to be able to inspire but also to educate as well. Definitely want our audience to visit brainquest.com. You can get a lot of great information there, as well as be able to join the fan club that's there as well. The books, of course, are available through your favorite bookstore or through our friends at Amazon.com. And Karen, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you for having me. I'd love to be back to talk more.
Definitely would love that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Then let's go make today amazing. Take care.